name is Evelyn Garcia. I'm a first-generation American, the oldest of 8 children. My parents came from Haiti. I was born in New York City and raised in New York for the most part, product of a Catholic home and public schools, union households throughout. Then we moved to Connecticut, and from there we retired. My husband and I retired and moved to Florida in 2004. I would like you to know that I have been an activist. I consider myself an activist for many of the principles that I think are embodied in the Democratic Party, the values that we grew up with, and what I think is important, the way people treat each other, and the programs we need to put in place to make sure that that happens. So I think my life story is really uniquely suited to the residents of District 88, because what I have lived is what we all strive to live. I have some experience knowing what happens when you have underfunding of our schools, our public services, our safety services, and how that hampers the ability for us to reach the middle class that we all aspire to, and that I believe unions have created in this country, and we need to bring that back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. My name is Bobby Powell. I am a candidate for the open seat. I'm a former aide to the current state representative who is now running for state senate. I am a native of Riviera Beach, graduate of Palm Beach Gardens High School. Upon completion of high school, I went to Florida A&M University, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in journalism. Graduated magna cum laude. I was a member of the track and field team. As a matter of fact, I was a superstar on the track and field team. Well, I was all right. I went on to go to graduate school at Florida State University, where I received my master's degree in urban and regional planning. While there, I did 3 assistantships, one with the Tallahassee-Leon County Planning Department, one with the Neighborhood and Community Services Division, and also with the Department of Community Affairs. Upon completion of that, I returned to West Palm Beach, where I accepted a job as a city planner in West Palm Beach, where I was a member of the PMSA, which is the Public Managers Union. And my father, at the same time, while I was a member of the PMSA, he worked for the city of West Palm as well. He was a member of SEIU. Upon my completion of the job with West Palm Beach, after 2 years of working there, I began to work in the community as I had done while I was a city planner. And I got involved with the politics, and I started working for the state representative, and I worked with him for the last 3 years. I'm running today to make sure that I'm able to stand up for the union, stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. That's what I've done in the community. That's what I'll continue to do. I'm Bobby Powell, Jr., candidate for State Representative, House District 88.
My name is Nakasha Wells, and I'm running for Florida House of Representatives, District 88. I'd like to thank the unions for inviting us this evening to give us an opportunity to answer your questions, because those are very important to me. You are the individuals that we are running to represent, so your opinions and your ideas are very important to me. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my grandparents came to West Palm Beach in 1961. So I'm a West Palm Beach native of 32 years and very proud of this community. I am also a product of public school education. I went to school here in Palm Beach County and went on to Florida State University, where I got my bachelor's degree, and then St. Thomas University, where I got my law degree. Unions are extremely important to me. I actually represent union employees in my law practice, along with family law matters, where we handle child support and divorce, and probate matters as well. I'm running because of a few very personal reasons. One, as I stated earlier, I'm a product of Palm Beach County schools. So I know how important it is to advocate in Tallahassee for our education system, because so many problems stem from our lack of funding to our educational system. Our kids are suffering, and they need us. They need us to stand up for them. We keep stripping money from the budget every year, and I want to go to Tallahassee to stop the bleeding. We have too much emphasis on high-stakes testing, on the FCAT, and our children are suffering. And that's why I'm running. I'm the mother, very proud mother of an 8-month-old, 9-month-old daughter. And I want to see a better future for all of our children. So I want to go to Tallahassee to fight for the same public education that I was the beneficiary of. My name is Nakasha Wells, and I'm running for State Representative District 88.
What will be your main priorities as state representative for House District 88? And what legislation will you sponsor to work toward those objectives?
We started with housing, economic development, and education. In terms of housing, I'll make sure that I sponsor legislation to prevent the housing trust fund from being stripped or from being raided every year when we try to fix the budget or try to balance our budget. As you know, housing is one of the issues that's very important to us here in Palm Beach County. We're under a foreclosure crisis. Florida's one of the leading states in foreclosures. But at the same time, you have to realize that although the prices of housing are going down, banks aren't lending money. So we have to make sure that we have money in our state budget to be able to support low-income housing, so that we have money in the trust fund so that people who normally wouldn't be able to afford a house are able to live, because housing is the building blocks of economic development. Also, I would support legislation that brings money to our district and throughout the state that supports infrastructure. This is an area where our district includes the port. Our district includes many road projects that we need to they need to be repaid, they need to be redone, and that's money that will come out of the budget to help fix our roads. And also our school system. Every year we're continuing to take money from the school system, and our kids aren't getting any better. We talked about the FCAT, we talked about high stakes testing. I understand that, yeah, we need to be held accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable in the school system. But we need to make sure that our children are learning. They're coming out with the hard skills that it takes to be able to have a job. Our children, a lot of our children I work with come out of high school in the 12th grade and they can't type. And that's a problem. So it's something that we all need to address, not just in the school system, but we have to be a whole community. We have to work holistically. If I know a kid doesn't have a skill that I have, I'll help them with that.
I advocate for in Tallahassee is to de-emphasize high-stakes testing. I think that it is hindering not only our students, but it's also hindering our teachers' ability to be able to be creative in the classroom. If they are concerned about their jobs and about being retained, they're going to teach to the test, and I think that that is a disservice to both teachers and to our students. The other thing that is very important to me is healthcare options for senior citizens. Like I said, my reasons for running are very personal, because I know that the things that affect my house and my family affect everybody. And I have a 64-year-old mom who worked for the city of West Palm Beach, and don't tell her I told you how old she is. She worked for Parks and Recreation Department for 30 years. When she retired, she didn't have any viable healthcare options. I will also advocate, I will be a vehement advocate for the implementation of the Affordable Care Act here in the state of Florida. Our governor has already said he is not going to take this money, he is not going to implement what our president has worked so hard to implement here in this country, is to level the playing field for health care for everyone. Whether or not you have a job or whether or not your employer actually offers health care options. I think that is extremely important with 40 million Americans and over 3 million Floridians that don't have viable health care. Those are some of the main things that I would advocate for.
I think that I have some questions, and some residents of District 88 have also asked me, what was the thinking when this district was put together, was redistricted? So nobody can answer that question yet, because we have a completely new configuration and we don't really know why. The idea then for me is to put some fresh eyes and fresh ears on the district. We need to connect to each other, and I think it's important for us to get a consensus in the community. What is it that we think is going on now with new neighbors from Lake Park all the way down to Delray Beach? Who are we, to get to know who we are and what our needs are, what our priorities are. And in addition to the concerns that we all have in common, we know we need to create jobs, we know we need to stem the blight of inner cities, all these vacant homes that are being taken away, foreclosed. We need to find a program that will enable people to purchase all these vacant homes and put them back on the market and keep our communities vibrant and safe. So one of the things that I think is very important to me that I would like to see happen is more constituent services. I would like you to be able to call the office and say, okay, there's down the street from me here, they haven't fixed the potholes in 10 months. What's going on? We're taxpayers here, okay? We have to have our share of the resources coming out of Tallahassee. With a $70 billion budget, we need to make sure that our communities right here participate in all the resources that come down. So I would start by looking fresh at what's been going on. What is this new district, this configuration that we have? Let's all get together and see, we're neighbors now. What's important to us? What's the most important thing that we want to address? And then you tell us what it is you want us to do for you in Tallahassee.